What's happening, everybody? Thursday, June 5th, 2025. My name is Kevin Smith. Thank you all so much for tuning in to Loud Majority Live. We had a jam-packed show for you guys today. Donald Trump's new travel ban is in order, and oh boy, are the lefties losing it. Oh, are they losing their minds over this? We're going to break it down for you, which countries are on the restricted list and which countries are on the outright ban list. Moreover, why did Donald Trump choose these 12 and these 7 nations? Also, the Supreme Court levies some huge decisions. That's breaking at this hour, 2 big ones. One is going to hurt Mexico quite badly, and one, which I would have thought would have been obvious, but we live in a world of victimhood culture. It turns out straight white people can be discriminated against too. What a notion. Also, of course, we've got the requisite story of who did an illegal immigrant kill today. We got to make sure we get into that as Donald Trump sees some of his highest approval ratings ever. And if we get to it, I'm going to piss off everyone in New York. That's just what I'm going to do. What the hell? Why not? Why would it be a day? Would it be a normal day if I wasn't pissing off New York Republicans? Guys, do me a favor and hit that thumbs up button. Share the video out all over the place. Yes, AC Knight does love the MAGA Republican shirt, which, of course, you guys can all pick up at loudmajorityusa.com. Use promo code RUMBLE to get 20% off everything on the website. That's Rumble to get 20% off everything on the website. That is the best way to help this show support this sort of content. We got some big events coming up this weekend. Make sure you guys keep it locked in here for all of that. Once again, as always, the weekly update. We will be at the Farmingdale Street Fair this Saturday. We will also be at the Save the Chief Festival at Massapequa High School. Giddy up, let's go. If you're in the area, make sure you come on down for that. On Sunday, we might be at the Deer Park Street Fair. Got to see if I have the energy for that one. Maybe, probably. I don't know. We'll see. What's happening? Natalie, let's go Mets. Giddy up, let's go. Pete Alonso kicking names and taking ass all day long. I'm liking it. I'm liking it a lot. Let's dive right in. So, the Supreme Court, over the course of the last couple hours, have dropped some big decisions. The Supreme Court unanimously told Mexico to kick rocks. This from Katie Pavlich over at townhall.com. In a unanimous decision, that should tell you how obvious it was. Ruled 9-0 that the government of Mexico cannot hold American gun manufacturers accountable for criminal activity. More specifically, cartel violence on the South Shore, on the southern border. Quote, the government of Mexico sued 7 American gun manufacturers, alleging the companies aided and abetted unlawful gun sales that routed firearms to Mexican drug cartels. The balls on these people. Mexico focuses on production of, quote, military-style assault weapons, which is a meaningless term, but these products are widely legal and purchased by ordinary consumers. Manufacturers cannot be charged with assisting criminal activities simply because the Mexican cartel members prefer these guns. The same applies to firearms with Spanish language names or graphics alluding to Mexican history. While they may be coveted by the cartels, they also may appeal to millions of law-abiding Hispanic Americans. Even the failure to make guns from non-defaceable serial numbers without show the manufacturers have joined both mind and hand with lawbreakers in the manner required for aiding and abetting. So this is pretty funny. The Mexican government, in a move that boggles the mind, attempted to sue American gun manufacturers because their criminals prefer our weapons to other ones. Yeah, that happened. So instead of the Mexican government actually doing something about the cartels that have overtaken their country and have their communist president by the stones, she doesn't have stones, because if she did, there's a joke in there about aunts and uncles. Instead of doing something about them, she's suing the equipment rather than pursuing the perpetrator. Sounds an awful lot like American Democrats. Don't blame the people doing it. Blame the manner in which they do it in. And the Supreme Court very obviously told the Mexican government to, in not so many words, kick rocks. You're not going to sue American companies because you can't get control of your organized crime. Sorry, not sorry. Also, the Supreme Court rules unanimously. Wow. Some of these Supreme Court cases are getting more and more obvious. Some of the Supreme Court cases are getting more and more obvious, with the Supreme Court also ruling unanimously in favor of straight Ohio woman who claimed discrimination. Turns out straight people, you can be discriminated against too, which should have been obvious for a long time, but apparently things have to be spelled out for the stupid people. The Supreme Court ruled unanimously in favor of an Ohio woman who claimed she was discriminated against for a job promotion in favor of gay candidates. The ruling, Ames versus the Ohio Department of Youth Services, finds that members of the majority group in protected classes do not need to meet a higher standard of evidence in order to establish discrimination. Ketanji Brown Jackson wrote the opinion in the majority. Wow. The Sixth Circuit has implemented a rule that requires certain Title VIII plaintiffs, those who are members of majority groups, to satisfy heightened evidentiary standards, Jackson wrote. We conclude that Title VIII does not impose such a higher standard on the majority group plaintiff. Therefore, the judgment below is vacated. The woman in the case, a heterosexual woman who worked for the Department of Youth Services in Ohio since 2004. She argued she was discriminated against on the basis of her sexual orientation after she was passed over for a promotion in 2019 in favor of a lesbian woman and then later replaced in her own role by a gay man. Ames was qualified. She had been denied a promotion in favor of a gay candidate and then was later demoted in favor of another gay candidate. Evidence that would ordinarily satisfy her prima facie burden, but it specifically faulted Ames for failing to make the requisite showing of background circumstances. Title VIII prohibits employers from discriminating against employees on the basis of race, color, religion, sex, or national orientation. Thursday's ruling strikes down the Sixth Circuit Court's background circumstances rule, which would require majority groups in protected classes to show special evidence of discrimination. So according to the Sixth Circuit, apparently, if you're white or straight or a guy, I don't know, are guys in the majority? I don't know, white or straight, you have to have extra evidence of discrimination in order to prove it. Or even though any evidence of discrimination would be evidence of discrimination. You wouldn't need extra because you've already got it. Shocking. I think it's funny that they let Ketanji Brown Jackson write the decision on this one, considering how awful she's been on any notion of civil liberties, civil rights, or the very concept of what it is to be an American. And we're going to get to that during the travel ban segment. Thursday's orders does not fully resolve the case in Ames' favor, however. The court notes that Ohio had alternative arguments for why the Ohio government's treatment of Ames, the plaintiff, or the defendant, was justified. The justices said they are not weighing in on those alternative arguments, merely striking down the background circumstances rule. We grant review to consider the validity of background circumstances rule, and we reject the rule for the reasons set forth above. We leave it to the courts below to address any of Ohio's remaining arguments on remand. Ames' case was supported by the Justice Department, the America First Legal Foundation, and the Libertarian Pacific Legal Foundation. The NAACP Legal Defense and the Education Fund were among the many of the groups backing Ohio in the case. So naturally, the NAACP came out on the wrong side of this one, which, they've got a bit of a history of doing. Guys, we're going to get to the big travel ban in just 1 second. We're going to explain it to everybody because, quite frankly, this is big. But it's big for a number of reasons. We'll get to that in 1 minute. Here's Jeremy.
Hey everyone, I really hope you are enjoying the program today, and I hope you enjoy LFA TV as a whole, because let's face it, we're not getting any younger. However, if there was a way to slow down our aging and live a little bit longer, would we do it? I think we would. You ever heard of Fatty 15, folks? Well, Fatty 15 is a brand new supplement that has C15 in it. You might ask, what's C15? Well, C15 is the first fatty acid to be discovered in 90 years that actually prolongs your life. Over 100 studies over many years were done on dolphins because these two doctors were in charge of basically increasing the dolphin population. So they started introducing this fatty acid called C15, and what they found was something amazing. The dolphins were living longer, and the dolphin pods were growing bigger. It was an amazing discovery. And now, ladies and gentlemen, you can get C15 introduced into your life to slow down the aging process of your cells. And it's not only going to make you feel and you look younger, but it's going to make your body think it is younger, which means you're going to start doing more things again. There's a thing called cellular fragility syndrome. And cellular fragility syndrome happens as we get older. This is going to reverse it, folks. Fatty15.com/LFA, promo code LFA. That is fatty15.com/LFA, promo code LFA. Get your discount today, folks, and start this new journey to help you live longer. Fatty15.com/LFA, promo code LFA today. Now, back to the program. Thank you very much.
So the big news as of yesterday was Donald Trump's new travel ban. The lefties are absolutely losing their minds over this one, which we knew they were going to do. Of course, they're yelling racism and they're yelling Islamophobia, blah, 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 because they have nothing else to say. Now, let's get to the article and let's discuss why this is important. President Trump issues a travel ban, this from the Post Millennial, for 12 countries and restrictions on 7 others, barring foreign nationals who are not properly vetted. On Wednesday, President Trump signed a proclamation reinstating and expanding a travel ban aimed at restricting entry into the United States from countries deemed to pose a significant national security and public safety risk who do not properly vet visas. The action came in response to, of course, the illegal alien who decided to terrorize people at a peaceful pro-Israel rally by firebombing it in Boulder, Colorado. I got a video of that that's absolutely wild. President Trump said during the Oval Office address, the recent terror attacks in Boulder, Colorado has underscored the extreme dangers posed to our country by the entry of foreign nationals who are not properly vetted, as well as those who come in here on temporary visas and overstay them. Here was President Trump.
The recent terror attack in Boulder, Colorado has underscored the extreme dangers posed to our country by the entry of foreign nationals who are not properly vetted, as well as those who come here as temporary visitors and overstay their visas. We don't want them. In the 21st century, we've seen one terror attack after another carried out by foreign visa overstayers from dangerous places all over the world. And thanks to Biden's open door policies, today there are millions and millions of these illegals who should not be in our country. In my first term, my powerful travel restrictions were one of our most successful policies, and they were a key part of preventing major foreign terror attacks on American soil. We will not let what happened in Europe happen to America. That's why on my first day back in office, I directed the Secretary of State to perform a security review of high-risk regions and make recommendations for where restrictions should be imposed. Among the national security threats their analysis considered are the large-scale presence of terrorists, failure to cooperate on visa security, inability to verify travelers' identities, inadequate record-keeping of criminal histories, and persistently high rates of illegal visa overstays, and other things. Very simply, we cannot have open migration from any country where we cannot safely and reliably vet and screen those who seek to enter the United States. That is why today I am signing a new executive order placing travel restrictions on countries including Yemen, Somalia, Haiti, Libya, and numerous others. The strength of the restrictions we're applying depends on the severity of the threat posed. The list is subject to revision based on whether material improvements are made, and likewise, new countries can be added as threats emerge around the world. But we will not allow people to enter our country who wish to do us harm, and nothing will stop us from keeping America safe. Thank you very much.
I mean, none of that seems to be too out of the realm. I'm sorry, if you can't properly vet your own citizens, why should we have to? Now, we're going to get into all of the countries and why many of them are on this list, but this brings up a bigger conversation. That there is a large-scale amount of people in this country and around the world, to be quite frank, who think that just because they exist and their country sucks, that they have a right to come to America. You don't, okay? You don't. If I want to go visit a country and that country doesn't want me in it, I don't get to go visit that country. But for some reason, maybe it's because people have gotten so used to certain things in America, but there are a large-scale group of people who think that, wait, I just want to go see America for tourism. Well, no, you don't. But my cousin lives in Topeka, Kansas, and I live in Equatorial Guinea, and I'd like to go, well, sorry, bro. You don't get to do that. You have no right to be in this country. Just because your country sucks doesn't mean it's our responsibility to let you in here. And I want to be clear, a lot of time has been focused on the southern border, and that was a crisis for a long time, no doubt. But just as big of a problem are people who overstay their visas. People who come here for a short time, either to go to school or to just visit and just don't leave. Once you're here, once you land at Kennedy, once you land at LAX, I mean, you don't have to go back. It's not like if you have a visa that expires in 2 weeks, you're coming over here for a wedding. Nobody's going to check if you left. You know, it's almost like, you know, the what is it? The one dry foot, one wet foot policy that we had with Cuba for quite some time. As long as you landed here, you were safe? No. America's full. There's a big-ass no vacancy sign on the door. Such is life. Like, I'm sorry. I'm sorry you live in a Atreus and it sucks. Not my problem. Not my problem. The proclamation fully restricts entry from nationals from 12 countries identified as having deficient screening and vetting processes and poses a very high risk to the United States security. Some of these should be obvious. Some of these countries you may not have heard of, like Afghanistan, Burma, Chad, the Republic of the Congo, Equatorial Guinea, Eritrea, Haiti, Iran, Libya, Somalia, Sudan, and Yemen. Some of those ought to be obvious. Some of them should be quite clear. We don't want people coming here from Libya. You can watch Libyans have open-air slave auctions on YouTube. It's a failed state. Now, if we're being fair, it's a failed state because of the Obama administration, absolutely, which is precisely why Americans should keep their nose out of shithole countries' businesses. I'm sorry, they don't want to live like we live. They just don't. Entry for nationals from 7 additional countries, Burundi, Cuba, Laos, Sierra Leone, Togo, Turkmenistan, and Venezuela, is partially restricted, specifically targeting immigrants and non-immigrant holdings B1, B2, F, M, and J visas. I don't know what the hell those last ones are. All right, like, sounds good to me. Like, and there are people really going apoplectic over this. I don't get it. Go somewhere else. You want to leave your country? All right. I look, if I lived in, I don't know, Turkmenistan, I probably wouldn't want to live there either. But just because I don't want to live in my house doesn't mean I get to go move into your house. It's Islamophobic. It's xenophobic. It's racism. No. First off, someone out there is gonna have to tell me how it is restricting people from coming here from Haiti is Islamophobic. Bueller? Anybody? I mean, half of these countries are barely countries. They're just land masses. Most of these places, believe me, I could do a whole show on Somalia right now, because it turns out, despite the fact that we lost like 40 Americans during the Black Hawk Down issue, the Black Hawk Down instance in the early 90s, it turns out Somalia still sucks. It's still run by warlords. It's still being controlled by militias. We don't need any more of you here. I'm sorry. Like, I mean, to be honest with you, I'm not sorry, but I guess I'll just say I am for argument's sake. Oh, sorry, guys. The boat's full. Nobody's coming in. Exceptions are provided for lawful permanent residents, existing visa holders, certain visa categories, and individuals whose entry is deemed to serve the American interest. Sounds good. I am not, how would you say it? I'm not as restrictionist as some people are when it comes to, like, people who want to, like, study in America. You want to come here and you want to better America? I got no problem with that. My problem is when Chinese students come over here and they're spies, or they come over here, they get superbly educated at places like Harvard Med School, and then go back to Beijing to be a doctor. No. If you want to be educated in America, you can help America. Instead of just suckling at the quality American teat and then heading back to your third world country. Like, you want that crap? Go to Europe. You want to go to Europe. The proclamation cites many factors justifying the restrictions, including inadequate screening and vetting processes, high visa overstay rates, lack of cooperation in sharing identity and threat information, and a significant terrorist presence or state sponsor of terrorism. For example, Afghanistan is controlled by the Taliban. So, we don't want anyone from Afghanistan. It lacks a cooperative central authority and has a high visa overstay rate. Haitians have an overstay rate in America of more than 31%. That means a third of everyone who gets a visa from Haiti doesn't go home in an appropriate amount of time. Places like Chad are even worse, with nearly 50%. Equatorial Guinea, over 70%. Some countries, including Eritrea, Somalia, and Venezuela, have historically refused to accept back their foreign nationals. So some of them don't even let the planes land. So we won't let the planes take off. I don't really understand this. I don't really understand this. I don't know. Maybe it has something to do with the fact that, once people get here, we have a difficult time sending them back. We have a very difficult time sending them back, which we'll get to in 1 minute. Before we do that, old glory bang.
When big banks decide who gets access to America's financial systems and who doesn't, who do you think gets left out? Middle Americans who proudly wave their pro-America values. Cancel culture in banking is corrosive. It limits your participation in a vibrant, free market economy. Fortunately, you can fight back. You now have the opportunity to invest in the bank that's investing in a fair American banking system, one based in freedom. Ownership in Old Glory Bank, the pro-America online bank, is here. Old Glory Bank is a full-service FDIC-insured bank that's the alternative to overreaching, un-American big banks. We stand for privacy, security, and liberty. We stand for freedom, family, faith, and the flag. We stand for all the values you stand for, and for the values big banks can't stand. So help keep banking in the hands of Main Street, not Wall Street. To invest in Old Glory Bank, go to oldglorybank.com.
Guys, switching banks have never been easier. Head on over to oldglorybank.com. That's oldglorybank.com. So, this comes, of course, in the wake of the horrific terrorist attack that took place in Boulder, Colorado. President Trump, of course, seeks to deport this man back to Egypt, where he's from, where he overstayed his visa, and send his family with them. Now, obviously, the minute this happened, the minute this travel ban went into order, the minute they tried to send his family back, some judge from the middle of nowhere America would have decided that it's their time to become famous. So a Biden-appointed judge blocked the deportation of the Boulder attacker suspect's family despite their visa violations. So it turns out, here's what happened. A crazy person, a radical anti-Semite, tries to set a bunch of people on fire in Boulder, Colorado. We say, okay, now you're getting deported. We then look at him. We then see that members of his family have also overstayed their visas. They are not being sent back as a punishment for the crimes of the father. They are being sent back for their visa overstays. But a federal judge has decided in an emergency ruling that you cannot deport the wife and 5 children of Mohammed Suleiman, the Egyptian national under federal investigation in Boulder for the firebombing attack on Sunday. The temporary restraining order issued by District Court Judge Gordon Callahan prevents federal immigration authorities from removing Solomon's wife and the couple's 5 children from the country, at least for now. Defendants are temporarily restrained and enjoined from removing the wife and her 5 minor children from the state of Colorado or the United States. The ruling will remain in effect until a scheduled hearing next week. The order came after one of their friends sought emergency legal protection for the family. She urged the family facing imminent deportation by the Trump administration without opportunity to present their case to the court. The judge agreed, writing that the family's deportation would cause irreparable harm. Yeah, it probably would. No doubt. I'm sure being deported would cause you irreparable harm. You know what else causes someone, something, an entity irreparable harm? Overstaying your visa in a country you don't belong to. You know what else might cause people irreparable harm? I don't know, throwing Molotov cocktails into a protest full of Jewish people. But not only throwing the Molotov cocktails, but imagine being such a crappy person that you decide to firebomb Holocaust survivors, which he did, but also being so bad at it, you accidentally light yourself on fire in the process.
Has obtained this shocking new video of the suspect throwing a Molotov cocktail and catching himself on fire during the Saturday's attack that left 12 people hurt.
Now you know why he had no shirt on.
That's exactly right. He is facing multiple counts of attempted murder and a federal hate crime charge. I mean, this is just incredible. He's clearly a maniac. The question is, what did the family know? I mean, this is something we called for on the couch yesterday, Ainsley, that they need to question them. They needed to deport them. And it looks like the administration has fallen through on.
Kristi Noem says she's investigating that. What did the family know? Were they involved in this? Did they provide support? He apparently, according to reports, wrote a message to his family. He hid it in the desk drawer before the attack, lives about 100 miles away from this place. Allegedly told police that he hated Jewish people. He wanted to kill all Zionists. He sprayed a group with 87-octane gasoline from a garden hose that he made into a makeshift flamethrower. That's why that flame was so long and so big. He's in custody charged with federal hate crimes, 16 counts of first-degree murder. And
now, the left will try to tell you that they're being deported because their father did something awful. That's not true. They're being deported because they all have visa overstays. I'm sorry. America needs a wall as much as it needs a ceiling. It needs a roof. Adios. I tell you what, buddy. I tell you what. I'll give you this opportunity. How does this sound? How does this sound? We send you back to Egypt, and then, since you care about Palestine so much, you can petition the Egyptian government to open the Rafah crossing and allow Palestinians into Egypt. Since you care so much. Oh, that's right. That's right. They'd probably throw you off of a building. But you get to come here in America and bitch and moan and complain and throw fire bombs at people when you don't get your way, yelling free Palestine, talking about killing the Zionists. We don't do that crap here, bro. We don't do that stuff here. And now you and your family get to go back to Egypt. Have fun in Cairo. I don't know what to tell you. You don't get to break American laws and then just hang out. Those days are long over. And ICE is continuing to kick butt all over the country. Yesterday, as a matter of fact, having their single largest day of arrests ever, with 2,200 people arrested in a single day. I want to be clear. It's not enough. Not even a little bit. Here was Elena Habba in New Jersey following an ICE raid around.
We saw violent offenders just walking around the streets of New Jersey, and U.S. Attorney Alina Habba says, listen, this is not going to happen anymore in my home state. So she teamed up with U.S. Marshals who were going after the worst of the worst as they knocked on those doors and said, you can run, but you can't hide.
Police department with a warrant. Open the door.
An early morning raid in Newark, New Jersey. This team out serving a warrant for a suspected Trendy Aragua gang member, wanted for a string of armed robberies on New York City subways.
Come out now.
And outside that door, interim U.S. Attorney for New Jersey, Alina Habba.
We're doing multiple cases at once to make sure that we clean up as quickly as possible.
Habba and her team waiting for that main target to surrender, but he's not home. Instead, these migrants who the feds say are all in the country illegally finally come out.
Where are we going now? Now we're going to go to another Newark location to get a female who shot her partner, also gang affiliation.
This New Jersey woman arrested after investigators say she recently shot at least 2 people. A short time later, another bust in the Garden State. This guy wanted for aggravated assault nearly got away on the fire escape.
What's your message to those people who think they're going to hide out from your team here in the streets of New Jersey?
Well, you can run, but you cannot hide. And I think that the message is loud and clear.
And this is a month-long operation in the state of New Jersey, leading to more than 40 arrests, Jackie, and counting. It's not going to wrap up anytime soon. It's called Operation Apex Hammer. We'll keep an eye on it, Jackie.
we will watch.
You know what's going to be really funny? There is going to be such a sharp reduction in crime in this country over the next several years, seeing that we are deporting many people who routinely commit violent crimes. And I guarantee you, you will see Democratic mayors and governors and council people out there praising. Look at how crime has gone down under my leadership. You didn't do a damn thing. You didn't do a damn thing. Because it turns out New Jersey's not the only city, the only state in which this is happening. ICE also arrested about 100 people in Houston yesterday.
Take a look at this major operation recently in Houston. ICE deported 142 criminal aliens in Mexico in just the past 2 weeks. You're taking a look at just some of those arrests. According to ICE, as an entire group, they have been convicted of 473 crimes, among them 8 documented gang members, 11 convicted child predators, and you have a criminal alien who illegally entered the United States 21 times. In Philadelphia, ICE recently arrested this suspected al-Qaeda member previously released into the U.S. by the Biden administration in March of 2023. The field office director releasing this statement, quote, arresting individuals linked to a terrorist organization such as al-Qaeda reaffirms our unwavering commitment to safeguard the homeland. We have taken decisive action to make our communities safer and prevent potential threats to the American people.
Guys, don't you understand? America is not going to be America if we don't let suspected members of Al-Qaeda roam around. I mean, Democrats, can we at least get on board with not letting them in America? I don't know. I know that could be tough for you guys. But, I think you'd probably be a little bit better off if we got rid of the suspected Al-Qaeda members. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. I'm sure America would also be better if, these 6 illegal immigrants who have been arrested for murder after surrounding a woman's car and shooting her to death in South Carolina had not been here in America. Of course, the only problem with those people are, you ready for this? They are 21, 18, 17, 15, 13, and 14 years old. 13-year-old illegal immigrants are out there killing American citizens. This is a real story. 6 illegal immigrants have been arrested in connection with the murder of a woman in Lancaster County, South Carolina. According to the Lancaster County Sheriff's Office, deputies responded to a call about a vehicle stopped in the middle of the road and discovered 40-year-old Larissa Thompson dead with a gunshot wound. Investigators linked the fatal shooting to a firearm used in a previous burglary. The SWAT team executed a search warrant on 21-year-old Azel Torres Chirinos after he was found to be present at both crime scenes. He was arrested and found in possession of the handgun believed to be used in both the burglary and the shooting. Investigators later identified 5 additional suspects between the ages of 13 and 21 who were allegedly involved in both incidences. According to the Lancaster County office, federal immigration authorities confirmed that all 6 suspects are in the United States illegally. That's right. From the Herald, also arrested were, I'm not even going to try to pronounce some of these names. I'm not even going to attempt it. An 18-year-old, a 17-year-old, a 15-year-old, a 14-year-old, and a 13-year-old. Prosecutors want to try the 3 teens on murder charges as adults, along with the other 3 co-defendants. Lancaster County Sheriff's Deputy Justin Whalen testified during a hearing in May that 5 of the group members wrote in a text chain after the killing phrases such as "mission failed" and "this is just the beginning." He said that the group wanted to rob a car on a rural road, surrounded Thompson when she drove down the road, and then the group allegedly shot her to death. Yeah, we don't need these people here. So you know what we should do? For the teenagers, we shouldn't separate them from their families. We should send them all back together. No issue there. But the problem would be, see guys, the problem would be, if we did that, there is one Democratic member of Congress who claims that we can't deport illegals because then they won't be able to do something for us. Is it mow our lawns? Is it raise our children? Is it clean our homes? Is it open our pools? Is it bust the tables at the restaurants, which we've heard so much about? No. It's something even worse. Before we get to that, Mike Lindell.
I'm excited to announce that we're having our first ever mega sale on overstock clearance and brand new products. For example, save over 50% on this season's flannel sheets. Queen size only $59.98. Kings only $69.98. They sell out fast every year, so order now. Save 20% on our brand new My Crosses. They're designed in the likeness of the one I've worn every day for over 20 years. They come in men's and women's, and they're made right here in the USA. Get our 2025 six-piece My Towel sets for only $29.98. Our initial quantities are extremely low, so get them now before they go. And our best-selling standard My Pillows, just $14.98. So go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use this promo code to take advantage of our first ever mega sale. But wait, remember that $75 free shipping rule? Well, that ship is sailed because right now, every order ships absolutely free.
Guys, head on over to
our first ever.
Head on over to MyPillow.com. Promo code LOUD. That's MyPillow.com. Promo code LOUD for up to 80% of everything on our website. Chat, let me ask you. What do you think this Democratic member of Congress said we need illegal immigrants for? What do you think it was? Was it picking crops? Was it bussing tables? Was it nannies for our kids? What demeaning job that rich white ladies don't feel like doing themselves did this Democratic member of the House say we won't have anymore if we deport illegal immigrants? Let's see. Chat, I want to know what you think. I want to know what you think. Pick crops? Votes? No. No. Has anyone seen it yet? Has anybody seen it yet? We got crops. We've got some of them. Some people know about it. Some people have heard of this woman. I never have before this. She is Becca Balint. She is the congressman at large for the state of Vermont. And she says that if we don't have enough illegal immigrants, we won't have anyone to wipe our asses.
Labor, and of course, we have to come to a place in Congress where it is no longer a political issue, but we see it as an existential issue for the country. If we don't have avenues for people to come here legally to work or to build a home here, I'm going to be really crude right now. We're not going to have anybody around to wipe our asses because we don't have enough people.
Excuse me? What the hell did you just say? What? And imagine saying that and thinking you're the good guy. Imagine uttering that sentence and thinking you're like being virtuous. Of course, we are not allowed to make fun of this woman for being a dumbass, apparently an unwiped dumbass, because she stands for power. Because she is the first lesbian elected to Congress in Vermont. We won't have anyone to wipe out. First off, look, okay. Nobody wants to bust tables. Nobody wants to pick crops. Nobody wants to mow their own lawn. Let's be honest here. But I think you should be wiping your own ass. That's probably something you should be handling. Like, could you imagine this lady sitting in like Burlington, Vermont, taking a dump and like ringing a bell? Javier, bring the wipes. I mean, look, We're not going to get a Republican member of Congress from Vermont, but we should get someone better than that, okay? It's mind-blowing that Democrats will actually look at that woman and go, yeah, she's right. I mean, I had to pick up the baseball for that one. I'm actually blown away. By the way, reading the comments, this is absolutely hilarious. I mean, and that woman thinks she's being virtuous. I have to assume, by the way, you guys see the scuff mark? Yeah, I throw a scuffed ball. No big deal. I have to assume that there had to be a staffer in that office that after she said that, she walked off and they just went, can I ask you, were you recently hit in the head with something heavy? Of course they didn't. All the sycophants out there just continue to tell them what a great job they're doing. What a great job they're doing, because these people are vile. These people are vile. But because of their vileness, there are some people out there who are letting them know what is going on, and that would be Representative Brandon Gill. You guys know Brandon Gill. He's a friend of the show. Actually, maybe I'll try to get Brandon on to talk about this. But he was questioning a leader of a nonprofit that is, I think they're about to lose, like, government funding or some crap. And Brandon straight up asked her if she was a racist, to which, naturally, she said, of course I'm not a racist. And Brandon Gill, who always comes with the receipts, dropped the hammer on this arrogant white lady. Check this out.
Are you a racist?
With all due respect, sir, I'm here to talk about the essential work that nonprofits do.
Excuse me, that's a very simple
country.
question. Yes or no question. Are you a racist?
I'm not a racist.
You're not a racist. Particularly interesting because according to one of your affiliate charities, under your nonprofit umbrella, denial of racism constitutes covert white supremacy. Are you a covert white supremacist?
Sir, I'm here to talk about the essential work that nonprofits
Are you
do.
a covert white supremacist?
Can I talk about the work that nonprofits do in
No,
your
I'm
district?
asking you if you're a
Because I think
covert
that's
white supremacist, which according to one of your own organizations, again, denial of racism constitutes covert white supremacy. Would you like to answer the question?
I don't know what the question is.
So you refuse to answer whether you are a covert white supremacist.
I am here to talk about the essential work that nonprofits do. If you'd like to ask me a
I
question
am utterly
about
dumbfounded.
nonprofits
You are on
in your
record right now,
district
and you will
or
not say
throughout
that
the
you are not a
country.
covert white supremacist?
I don't have a definition in front of me. I haven't looked at the definition. I'm not going to answer a question about my personal
That
views.
is-
I'm here to talk about the work
You're not-
of nonprofit organizations.
I want to give you one more chance to do this. Are you a covert white supremacist?
Why are we so off track from the topic?
I'm asking you a very straightforward question.
I've heard your question. Thank you, sir.
And you're not going to answer whether you are a covert white supremacist.
I would like to answer questions about the work
This
of
is
nonprofit
this is
organizations. Thank you.
That is really, really astounding. I can answer very directly that I am not a covert white supremacist, and I imagine all of my colleagues can as well. I think you ought to reevaluate what you're doing in the nonprofit sector if you can't answer that in a straightforward way. That is astounding.
Brandon's awesome. Imagine that. And just think, all the Democrats want us to pay that idiot salary. And you know what's funny? We're all going to do it. I can't imagine why people say the nonprofit sector needs to be completely and utterly and grotesquely revamped. I can't imagine why. Because I don't know what nonprofit that woman works for. I don't know what charity she operates. Maybe she's curing cancer. I don't know. But all I know is that woman who just testified is an out-and-out dumbass. She didn't answer the question because she knew what the follow-up was going to be. You ready? Here's how that conversation would have been executed in a normal way. Are you a covert white supremacist? No. Well, then why does your website say that denying racism is covert white supremacy? To which she would have went, it shouldn't say that. I'm a fraud, and I've been grifting off of the racism industry in order to get federal tax dollars under Democratic rule, Congressman Gill. To which he would have said, wow, that's the first honest answer I've heard since I've been in Congress. But that lady couldn't say that because then the tax dollars are going to dry up. Brandon Gill, top rope, giddy up, let's go. You guys want to hear more? Let's go. It turns out that after everything, after every economic uncertainty and trade wars and Trump and Elon, they're going back and forth. Trump and Elon, they're fighting like cats and dogs right now about the big, beautiful bill, which I'm going to talk about tomorrow because something is going to be, I don't know if I'll have time to do it today, but something is going to be excluded from the big, beautiful bill. I can just about guarantee it. I guess someone's going to have to pass the pepper because it turns out they're not going to be able to pass the salt, which, if you watch this show on a regular basis, I told you was going to happen. I told you this was going to happen. I told you that the salt tax deduction was not going to be included in the big, beautiful bill, that it was going to get plucked out in the Senate, and nobody wanted to listen to me. New York Republicans, eventually one of you idiots will listen. Turns out this fat guy knows what he's talking about. Feel free to hire me at any time. Before we get to that, guys, hit that thumbs up button. Share the video out all over the place. That last little bit was for one person in particular who I know is watching the show right now, but he won't admit it. No big deal. Don't worry. Don't worry. Hit the thumbs up button. Share the video out all over the place. We are rocking. We are rolling. Big numbers today. Who else has got big numbers today? DJT. That's who's got big numbers today. Big number, big number, big number, big number. As it turns out, Trump has now topped the approval rating of Barack Hussein Obama. That's right. That's right. This from Breitbart News. On the same day, during his own second term, Barack Hussein Obama approval rating was 47.1%. Exactly 12 years later, during Trump's second term, Trump now enjoys an approval rating of 47.5%. So, for all the people out there who want to claim everybody hates Donald Trump and the world is ending, everything's coming down, la-di-da-di-da. Nope, turns out Donald Trump is more popular now than Barack Obama was at the same time in his second administration. Trump is also scoring better numbers than George W. Bush did on the same day during Bush's second term, June 4th, 2005. Bush at the time was at 45.9% compared to Trump's 47.5%. This is yet more proof of just how little power the corporate media have to shape and manipulate public opinion. The love fest for Barry Obama was 24/7, and the fake media treated Barry like a rock star, not a politician. On the flip side, the same media treat Trump like a stalker. Normal people just aren't listening anymore. They know the regime media is, one, biased towards Democrats, two, willing to tell you any lie available to protect Democrats and demonize Republicans. So when the media launch a 24/7 hate jihad against Trump, those two truths have taken into account by the public, which lessens the media's influence to a fraction of what it once was. You have to remember that Obama was the media's god. Everything they wanted in a president, they saw him as infallible, worthy of their open worship. And all that is good and decent in a human being. Obama, of course, was a radical leftist when he was young, good-looking. He was young, good-looking, all of the above, and black. The media simply adored him. He did nothing wrong. Trump is everything they hate. And he not only won re-election against billions of corporate dollars in media propaganda, but he's also currently more popular than Barry the God Obama. Yeah. Because it turns out we're not listening to you anymore, Jake Tapper. We don't care about you, Simone Sanders. We don't care about you at all. The only reason anybody tunes into CNN now is to watch Scott Jennings drop kick Abby Phillips in real time, which is some of the funniest shit. Oh, sorry. Sorry about that. See how? Sorry about that, everybody. I'm doing better, I think. It's a good thing the show is about to end since I just slipped with one of the naughty words. Guys, on the way out the door, do me a favor and hit that thumbs up button so that our numbers go higher than President Trump's approval rating, which is pretty damn good right now. Matter of fact, Trafalgar Group has him at 54%. 54%. Giddy up, let's go. You know what? We got a couple minutes left. Let's check how things are. The Dow Jones is up. The S&P 500 is remaining just about stable. Guys, life is good. Stay the course. Elon and Trump, they're going to battle. They're two gigantic personalities, two gigantic egos. All will be well. All will be well. Everyone breathe. Woosah. Woosah. This too shall pass. Guys, Will Johnson's coming up next. Do me a favor and hit the thumbs up button. I'll catch you guys back live tomorrow. Until then, everybody, stay loud.